Hello, my name is Maria Fennessy and I'm absolutely delighted to be part of the woodwind team for Music Generation Tipperary. So today I'm going to play a piece for you and I'm going to talk you through a couple of points that I noticed through teaching this to some of my gorgeous students, which I miss terribly seeing as I don't see them in person at the moment. But it made me think about a couple of things even with older, more experienced students. So I'll perform it for you first and then I'll talk you through some of the ideas that I've had. So for anyone who's not familiar with that piece, it's called the spinning wheel. And I'm sure you could imagine that kind of slow but steady pendulum swinging or the spinning wheel turning on a continuous basis. So some of the things that I found students got a little bit caught up with this piece were the sections that have repeated notes. That sometimes they stop the note with their tongue a little bit too much, so it almost sounds like it's a staccato note. And then other times they just play through it and it sounds like it's a held note. So for any senior players who might be looking at this video, some of the things that you might also recall is in Handel's sonata, the second movement in the allegro, there's quite a lot of repeated notes. We have the... Oh, I'll try that one again. We have that pattern, and also in the Mozart concerto you have so again you have some of those repeated notes. So in relation to our little piece today, it's very easy to put that to practice no matter what level you're at, to help define those notes without making them staccato. So the section that I'm on about, let me see, where have I gone in my music? Oh yes, that's right. So I'm going to take this pattern and I'm going to play it like some students might present it. So just going to take those two phrases. So at that time round, I held my notes rather than distinctively using my tongue to articulate that there was actually 3 notes in some cases, and in other cases there were 2 notes. So I'm going to go back and do it again, and this time I'm going to use my tongue to articulate the note, and let's see which one you think sounds better. Ran out of air there at the end of that one. But you could hear that there was separation between my notes, especially on the note A and also on the notes G. That it wasn't that the note was stopping, but you could hear that the air was pushing through, as was the note. I'm going to try and do it one more time, And if you have the music, it's called the spinning wheel. And if not, so the notes that we're trying to distinguish the separation with are the notes A, the notes G, and there's actually the note E in there as well. So if you'd like to try and play along with me, that'd be great. How did you get on that time? So let's try and do it where something else that I've seen students do, and I've definitely done it myself in my own practice, where you stop the note with your tongue and it almost presents itself as like there's maybe a rest between the notes, or that you're playing it as staccato, which is when we have really short detached notes. So I'll give you an example. So not only have I changed the articulation in that one, which is not written in the music in this particular part, but I've also changed the interpretation and I've changed how the musical phrase sounds. So it's quite interesting that how we articulate our music can determine what the character of the piece could be. So again, we're trying to depict the sense of a spinning wheel, so a wheel going round and round and round. So if we were to play it like I've just demonstrated, it might give a sense that our spinning wheel is stuck, which is definitely not the case. Because if our spinning wheel was stuck, well then our wool would get all tangled up and it would take a long time to sort that out. So that's why we do need to pay attention to these things in our practice. So how we stop that from happening is the airflow keeps going, so good support, and we keep the airflow going, and it's just that our tongue is getting in the way a little bit of it, not too harsh, not too aggressive, just so that the note can be pronounced or articulated a little bit clearer. So I'm going to demonstrate this just on the note G to see if you get a better sense, and if you'd like to try with me, that's even better again. So on the note G, please. So you can hear how the note is continuous, the air didn't stop, but you could also hear the definition between each note that I played. I'm going to try the same thing now on the note A. And again, the air is continuous, but you can hear the distinction without it being too harsh, that there's separate notes going on there, again to keep the momentum of our spinning wheel going. So again, for more senior performers, if you are working on the Handel piece that wasn't great at demonstrating earlier on, I might have a better go at it now. For the second movement, the allegro, we have those D's at the start. And that also comes back a little bit later on in the piece. So it's like a little motif that appears quite often. And each time it needs to sound definitive, and it also has to be precise. We also hear it on a different note. And so on as it goes on. So it is worth spending the time really listening that those notes are individually placed and played, because it does make a difference to the overall performance of the piece. The same can be said for Mozart, where we have the opening phrase, which always sounds so sort of stately or majestic or almost royal-like, a little bit like a fanfare maybe, and slightly out of character for some of the things that are written for the flute. So it is important, again with that one, if we were to do it without defining those notes, wouldn't sound quite as stately. Let's see if you can hear it. Definitely not with that case. And not so much with that one either. So it really does change the character of what you're playing. So it doesn't really matter if you're at a beginner level or if you're an intermediate or a senior player. These are the types of things that as learners we're always working on. Now I'm playing a very, very long time and I'm still finding and catching myself playing things and going, that doesn't quite sound right, especially with modern technology. And we have more ways of recording ourselves so we can get a true meaning of what we sound like when we get the chance to perform. And it's a great way of correcting some of those little things that maybe we don't really notice all that much. So, will we have a little go at this again and really define those repeated notes so that they don't get lost within the phrase or within the contour of the melody. Here we go again. So I really hope you enjoyed my little sneak peek into an approach that I have to teaching. I hope you enjoyed it and I look forward to seeing everyone again soon. Thanks everyone. Bye.